Okay, I'm going to try something a little different here today. I'm going to show you how to put a tire on. I'm using a tripod so I can have both hands free. It's the first time I've done it. Some of the things you need to do: get your tube, your rim, tire irons. Can of WD really helps. Make sure you got a good rim strip. Make sure you got your wheel oriented right. A lot of tires have a directional arrow. This one happens to have a directional arrow, so be sure you got that. So you don't do it all for naught and have the tire backwards. Now what I like to do is lube it up. I prefer WD-40 because it lasts a little longer than using soapy water. I prefer it. It's slipperier. Too old to fight this shit. So you slide the tire in as far as you can get it. Sometimes you can go all the way for you do half the wheel. And if you can't, you have to use a tire iron. Get the first half in. Like that. I happen to have enough WD almost to do the whole thing there. And what I like to do is I start from the valve stem. I end up at the valve stem. That's the secret. The valve stem is the thickest part. It doesn't compress when you're trying to pull the tire on, so you always start and end at the valve stem. Helps to get it laid out properly. This tucked in. And the hardest part is you got to search for the hole. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes not. Helps to where you can see it. Okay, in. Get my nut on there so I don't lose it. I like the nutted valve stems, threaded. Okay. Then I take and I fold it in half, basically, tuck and fold. Go about 50% each way, back and forth, to get it nice and even. That way you don't get it twisted. You don't want it twisted in there when you inflate it. Got the valve stem in. Now you want to end with the valve stem, so you start at this end. You basically put it on by hand for the most part. These little tires. Once you start doing bigger bikes like Harleys and such, it's a little more work, and you really need that deep center dish rim to help you. See, when you get the wheel squeezed, it drops into the center of the rim. That gives you that extra ½ inch to get it over the lip. If you got it up in the beads, you're never going to get it off without stretching and ruining the tire. So that's why you do it this way. And you take your hook tools, one there, and you can just about pop it on, or you can fight it, or just finish it like that. Next thing is make sure your valve stem's in. It's good to push it back. Make sure it's in there so it's not under the seat. Get it centered up. Get some air on it. I release it. Handy little valve stem tool, 5/16 bolt and a cap. Give it a chance to straighten out if it got twisted up any. Lets it find itself a nice seat for the tube. Put it back in, air it up again. Check with the gauge. Make sure your stem's straight. Tighten it up. That's about all there is to it. Doesn't need to be too tight. Give a little light wax. I got about 40 pounds in this for right now. Good straight. Directional arrow's right. Ready to rock and roll.